Hey, what's up, FightHype family? What is up, boxing fans around the world? It's your boy, Sean Zattel. Fresh off a little over 12 hours from covering Haney Lomachenko last night, ringside at the MGM Grand Garden. Great fight, fought at an extremely high level last night. High-speed chess, as we call it in boxing, at its finest, where, usually that's the best kind of fight if you really love boxing, is high-speed chess, a lot of tactical stuff going on, a lot of athleticism and hand speed and foot speed, but action, not too much tactics and whatnot. Real high-speed chess, and that's what we got last night. So before we jump into who I thought won and breaking down the fight, a big salute to both Devin Haney and Vasiliy Lomachenko for giving us a fight that I think exceeded expectations. We knew we were going to get a chess match, but we got a high-speed chess match. Really, as good a one as we've seen in a minute. Fights like Fury Wilder 3 were, just all-out wars. That wasn't high-speed chess. This was, great skills and tactics and adjustments while also having great exchanges and action, especially down the stretch in the second half of that fight. So, big shout-out to both of them. And that brings me to point number one, which is high-speed chess is awesome, and both guys delivered. We wind up making a million points on this shit, but Lomachenko still has a lot left, and Haney should move up to 140 because you gotta be 110% for Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson. There can't be any excuses about weight, or, you gotta be 110%. So if his body is starting to really struggle, well, it is struggling to make 35, then, it's time to move up. So, want to say what's up to everybody in the chat, and without further ado, I haven't rewatched the fight. I only saw it live last night in person. Shout out to AU Johnny for the super chat. Lineal Dispute. I'll get right to your super chat in a minute. But I thought Lomachenko last night did no worse than a draw. And I say that because he clearly... Now I got to watch it again. Things are different on television than they are in the arena. But round one was a swing round where Devin Haney was the more consistent fighter. He started off that round and got off first. But then Lomachenko landed, I think, the most eye-catching punches of the round at the very end, knocked Devin's head around a little bit, scoring shots. So first round was a swing round. Maybe Haney deserves it because he was a little bit more consistent, got off first. But rounds 3 and rounds 7 through 11, I thought live were clearly for Vasiliy Lomachenko, which means that's 6 rounds in the bank. So that means I would have given Haney 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6, and Vasiliy Lomachenko 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. He had a beautiful run where he swept 5 rounds in a row on my card, and really came on strong. And then I thought Haney did enough to win the 12th round, and Lomachenko said he gave that round away, which was a tactical error that he also committed against Teofimo Lopez, although the scorecards were so bad in that fight that it didn't cost him the fight, and it wouldn't have cost him last night either. But that was still a tactical error. Great trainers like Emmanuel Stewart, they always would emphasize closing the show like a champion, trying not to leave it in the judge's hands. And Lomachenko took his foot off the pedal. He admitted that after the fight, that he took his foot off the pedal, and that didn't help his case once he got to the scorecards. But speaking to people in press row, felt like 80 to 90% of the media scored the fight for Lomachenko. Again, I thought he did no worse than a draw. I think I could have seen 115, 113 Lomachenko more than I saw 115, 113 Haney. But to address the title of the video, that's not a robbery. It's an extremely, extremely close fight with a lot of really close rounds. And, a robbery is Whitaker Chavez back in 93. A robbery is Evander Holyfield against Lennox Lewis in their first fight. Last night wasn't a robbery. It was a excellent fight, won by an ascending guy in Devin Haney, and then won by a guy we thought his best days were behind him. The Lomachenko was his peak, and that at lightweight, he became champion at lightweight, but he hasn't been quite the same at lightweight. But, Lomachenko proved his greatness too. And, in today's era with less activity and things like that, Lomachenko's already going to the Hall of Fame, but last night, if he had gotten that decision, he'd have really stamped himself as an all-time great. He's a great in his era, where fighters aren't fighting as often, and sometimes the best fights can't always be made because of different promoters and all that bullshit. But last night, if you felt like he won the fight, you felt like the judges took from him his solidifying his legacy, cementing his greatness as a professional. You know, we know what he did with the 2 gold medals. And then he went on the Lomachenko run at 130. Never unified at 130 or 126. Then he unifies at 135. Gets the Lopez fight. Fights the worst 6 rounds of his career to start the fight. That fight gets away from him. And even though he didn't get the decision that a lot of people feel like he deserved, Lomachenko redeemed himself last night from the Teofimo fight. And, oh, wait, one moment. Oh, yeah, let me pull up the scorecards on the live while we're here. And a lot is being made, obviously, about Dave Moretti scoring the 10th round for Devin Haney when it was clearly a Vasiliy Lomachenko round, but that's not what cost Lomachenko the fight on the cards anyways. Because even if Moretti correctly scores the 10th for Lomachenko, Haney still wins the fight 115-113 on all 3 scorecards. Here, let's bring up those scorecards now. Here we are. One moment. So here we go. Here's a look at the official scorecards. And before I look at these scorecards, I do got a couple super chats I got to get to. We got about 800 people in here. You guys are awesome for joining in the morning after. Davon, a.k.a. Schoolboy Beats, says 7-5 to Haney. The hardest rounds to score is 8 and 9. I gave Haney 5-1 through the first 6 rounds and 4-2 Loma on the second half. Davon, I appreciate your super chat. 8 and 9 were a little tough to score. Even the 7th, which I gave to Lomachenko, Devin landed, one of his best punches of the fight, that fight, when he landed that hard check hook on Lomachenko, and then Lomachenko returned fire in combination. I recall giving 8 and 9 to Lomachenko. So if Davon, if you gave those 2 rounds to Haney, and I give those 2 rounds to Loma, then it's 115-113 the other way. If I give one of those 2 rounds to Lomachenko, then it's a draw. Meaning we had a really close fight. It's not a robbery. Again, I'm not, a lot of you guys who followed me here on FightHype know I've covered Devin Haney since he was a teenager. I got a lot of love for Devin and his pops, and I'm happy for him. He dug down like a true champion last night, but, I keep it real. And if anyone got the 115-113 nod when I watched the fight last night, it was Lomachenko. But that doesn't make it a robbery by any means whatsoever. But if you think Lomachenko won the fight, you're in the popular, opinion. But if you think Haney won the fight, you're not crazy. 619 Cali Factor said 7-5 either way. It comes down to what you like, right? For example, it comes down to what you like. A lot of people gave Devin Haney credit for those hard, withering right hands to the body that began to redden up Lomachenko's midsection. But someone like me who was watching it live, I thought that was offset by the straight left hands by Lomachenko up top. Me personally, I'll score the straight left hand that knocks your head back, knocks your head up, over the tough right hand to the body. But that's just me. Again, that, like you said, it comes down to what you like a little bit there. So here we are on the scorecards now, finally. And Dave Moretti with the 116-112 right here, scoring, where is that? Round 10 for Devin Haney. And, that put the fight away for Haney on the scorecards. He didn't have to win either of the last 2 rounds to get that. So, David Williams says, judges don't cheat for black fighters. Thank you for the super chat, David Williams. And it's a little bit of an uncomfortable subject to broach, something as big as race. I don't want to get into that, really. But I will say, as Don King would say, only in America would the American fighter fighting in his hometown against a foreign fighter be booed before and after the fight. So David Williams, that kind of touches on what you're getting at there. But yeah, so Moretti scores the 10th for Devin Haney. That put the fight away on the scorecards. And all 3 judges gave the 12th to Haney, which I gave it to him as well. And in so many words, Lomachenko said he gave it to Haney too, because he said he kind of gave that round away, which was a tactical error on Lomachenko's part. But if he had won the last round, he had gotten a draw. He would have been able to get the draw. Wasn't able to do that. He is up against a kid who is fighting in his hometown. But to be fair to Devin, guys, yeah, he got a decision in his hometown. All the speculation heading into the fight that if anyone's going to get the benefit of the doubt, it would have been Lomachenko, who Top Rank loves. kind of like no other fighter. They love Lomachenko. And the thought is that Devin Haney, being a free agent with no guarantee that he would return to Top Rank, could easily go to Eddie Hearn, set up a fight with Regis Prograis at 140, could easily go to PBC, set up a fight with Davis or their 140-pounders like Subriel Matias. So the thought was, if anyone's going to get home cooking, benefit of the doubt, it would have been Lomachenko. So, but as it turns out, Devin Haney fighting at his home, who has a big economic future ahead of him. Lomachenko at 35 does not. He's produced whatever he's going to produce in that front. And Haney sold out that crowd last night, to his credit. He sold out that crowd. Well, they both did, because separately, they don't sell out the MGM Grand. They don't make pay-per-view. But together, what do you know? You put two top-level fighters in there, and it draws a lot more than if they weren't fighting each other. What do you know? You know, make great fights, and they sell well. What do you know? So, lost my train of thought there for a moment. But, yeah, let me check some more things out in the chat here. Chat is lit this morning, man. Super chat from my man Davon, a.k.a. Schoolboy Beats. Loma was spotty and inconsistent and clinched a lot. I didn't think either. I got to rewatch it again, Davon. I didn't think either guy was initiating that many clinches. They both did. They both had their fair share of roughhousing tactics. Lomachenko, I think, tackled Devin to the ground a little bit in the 4th or 5th round. Devin Haney, like Floyd Mayweather, the fighter he looked up to, knows to give that forearm, that elbow in the clinch to get you off sometimes, and he did that. I thought both guys gave as much as they got in terms of the roughhousing tactics and all that on the inside. And to Devin Haney's credit, he made this a more exciting fight than maybe he needed to. He pressed Lomachenko, and I understand he did that because he has his size advantage. He's the bigger man. Lomachenko used to be a featherweight. But in doing that, and stepping to Lomachenko from round 1, he gave up his height a little bit. And it allows Lomachenko to get you into that dance where you're taking a step forward, he's in and out, and then with his foot speed, he catches you in that dance. And you try to take the half step back once he makes his move, and he beats you to the spot. You try to take that half step back to reestablish range, keep the short guy off of you, and he beats you to the spot, and now he's in close where he wants to be inside of those longer arms, and he's getting busy with the combinations. So when Lomachenko, most of the fight was not fought at that range. So yes, Lomachenko's work came in spurts, came in spots. Haney was more consistent on the outside. And it's odd. You know, CompuBox sometimes is odd. It didn't feel like Lomachenko was throwing that many more punches than Devin. What it felt like was Devin was getting off first and more often for much of the round, but then Lomachenko would pick his spots and throw his punches in bunches and was more effective. It landed the cleaner shots to the chin, to the head. You know, the stuff that knocks, that catches the fans and the judge's eye. Well, usually it's supposed to catch the judge's eyes when a guy's head is, you know, rocking around and things like that. So, but that made it close. That made it tough for Lomachenko and to win some of those rounds because, like you're saying, Davon, it's coming in spurts. So, tough fight to score. Let's look at a few other things. Let's take a look at some of the replay, some of the interviews we did shortly after the fight, and we'll start with. Let me see here. Loma missed hella flurries, bruh. I didn't think so. I didn't think Lomachenko was doing the old Oscar De La Hoya against Pernell Whitaker, just throwing a bunch of combos that makes the crowd go. And the crowd was oohing and on at everything Lomachenko did. I do think, you know, maybe you can get caught up a little bit in the underdog, the 35-year-old guy and all that. But scored it how I scored it. And hold on one second here. Scotland Sensei, thank you for the super chat, said this was Devin's Castillo fight. He won fair. That was a very close fight. And what sucks here for Devin is it doesn't look like his body can get down to 135 pounds comfortably anymore. I think that had something to do with him down the stretch of the fight. But it's funny. I scored that first Floyd Castillo fight a draw. But Floyd said, you know what? There's some doubt there. There's some controversy there. Let's run it right back. Problem was, Floyd at lightweight, he had just moved up to lightweight when he fought Jose Luis Castillo. Devin Haney, beginning his career at lightweight, Floyd started at 130. He fights Castillo right away, fights him for the belt, has the rematch, competitive rematch. People like to act like Floyd just washed Castillo in the rematch. No, he won 116, 112. He won 8 rounds to 4. It was a good fight. But for Devin, it kind of sucks because you'd love to get this rematch to put it, if you're Devin, to put a quiet to any doubts about who the winner was. But he can't make the weight anymore, I think. It's time to move up to 140 pounds. You can't be fighting the best fighters in the world not at 100%, not at 110%, really. So you don't want to be like Ryan Garcia 3 or 4 weeks ago and lose a huge fight and then have to make the excuse, which is, it is an excuse, but it's the truth, that you were weight drained, you were this, you were that. There's no do-overs. So, you know, Haney, as much as, you know, a lot of us would love to see that rematch, he's not going to be at 100% sucking down to 135 anymore these days. So I don't think we see the rematch. It's going to be, it is what it is. You know, Lomachenko's not going to fight at some catch weight at 138 because then the belts wouldn't be on the line, and that's all Lomachenko cared about, was becoming undisputed. And he's already pissed off. He already felt like, I'm fighting heavyweight. So he's not going to, you know, let Devin come in at 138 or something like that. So this chapter is closed. And if you're a Devin Haney critic, you're going to hold it against him for the rest of his career. But if you're objective, it was a really close fight. You know, most people probably felt Loma deserved the nod, but not everybody. And, you know, it is that, I think, it just wasn't a robbery to where now we got to take this great high-speed chess match and just, you know, think it was just this awful night of more corruption in boxing. You know, awful night in boxing was like the Romero Barroso stoppage. Even the 2 fights before the main event, not stopping Andrew Maloney from going out against Junto Nakatani to get slept in the 12th round when that man had nothing left in him, and they sent him out there anyways. That was awful by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. You know, this fight, again, I think if anyone got the 115, 113, it was Lomachenko. But it's not a robbery. King Joker, thank you for the super chat. King Joker said, Haney won rounds 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 12, and Lomachenko won 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, which would give you a card of 7-5 Devin Haney. So, and again, off top, I believe I scored a draw because I gave 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 to Haney and 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to Lomachenko. So, you know, I finished with a draw, but that first round was a swing round. There's a couple of swing rounds throughout. I just felt like watching the fight, if anyone nicked it, it was Lomachenko. But, you know, it is what it is. Fights are scored, you know, round by round, not like Stephen Edwards said, my man Breadman Edwards on Twitter said fights aren't scored as one big 36-minute fight. It's round to round. And maybe part of why people thought it was a robbery is Lomachenko had such convincing rounds like round 11, and Haney's rounds in the first half, he was nicking them. He was winning those rounds, but they weren't dominant like the 11th for Lomachenko. But nicking a round is the same, and if you don't drop the guy, is the same as, you know, being in full control of a round. 10-9 is 10-9. So that's what happened there. And as we look ahead to Devin Haney, and it's I always thought that Devin Haney, when most people felt Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson were the top 2, I always thought Devin could leapfrog both of them because he has the length and the size they don't have. They're not going to become welterweights one day, really, and Devin is, because his length and his height as compared to them, and he throws usually more punches than them, certainly more punches than Tank. But after reassessing everything and watching all 3 of these guys, we're down to the 3 kings now, Tank, Shakur, and Devin. Tank and Shakur have better timing than Haney. They tuck their chins better than Haney, and they're more accurate with their punch placement than Haney. That said, Haney is younger than them and bigger than them and has the best jab out of the 3. So he has his tools to work with too. And unlike Gervonta Davis at 28, he's 24 and still getting better. And I suspect a move up to 140 is going to be beneficial for him. And even Stevenson's a little older than Devin by a year and a half. He's a little bit closer to his prime. Gervonta is in his prime. Shakur's about to enter his prime. Devin at 24 going on 25 isn't there yet. And so, as of right now, I do think Tank and Shakur look a little bit more like the slightly better all-around fighters. But fuck this hypothetical shit. There is no hypothetical dubs on BoxRec. These guys got to fight each other. It's fun to discuss it and play it out. Tank with his great timing and punching power and hand speed. And maybe he could time Devin. He just has to time him once or twice. But then again, Tank, like Shakur told me yesterday, we all know who wins that fight now between Tank and Devin. And he meant Tank being the winner. But just a year ago, literally a year ago today at Barclays Center, Tank, on most people's scorecard, was losing to Rolando Romero, who was losing last week to Ismael, 40 years old, Barroso. So, these guys got to fight each other to really know who's best. We can't just hypothetical it. Devin struggled against Lomachenko. Therefore, Stevenson and Tank beat him. And it's like, yeah, but Tank was struggling with Rolly Romero. And Devin's a couple levels above that. So so styles make fights. I do think Tank out of the three is the one who's really in his prime. He's the seasoned 28-year-old. He's entering the peak. His IQ has gotten better every fight. His timing is really good. He has great timing. And Shakur and Tank tuck their chins a little bit better, and they have better punch placement. But Devin is younger than them, bigger than them, and tends to throw more punches than them. And he has that long jab. That's the best jab out of the three. So we're not going to know who's the real king, who's the real Dum Dada, until they fight each other. That said, I understand why the consensus was for the last year or so, Tank and Stevenson, and then Haney, even though he's the undisputed lightweight champion. But he is, Devin, with his ambition and willingness to go to Australia, he got to those belts before Tank or Shakur did. And Tank, if he really wanted to, if he really pressed the issue, that could have maybe been his opportunity instead of Devin Haney's. But Devin wanted it. He wanted to become champion. He beat them to the punch. And so when he moves up, this win over Lomachenko, disputed or not, it stamps the resume at lightweight now that he's going to move up, because you say, okay, he was undisputed, but he beat George Kambosos. He beat Linares, but Linares, come on, he'd been stopped 5 times. Gamboa had nothing left. Jojo Diaz, good win, but a little guy moving up. Lomachenko is a future Hall of Famer who looked really good last night. And it's disputed, but that win, when it's all said and done 10 years from now, and you go on BoxRec and you see Lomachenko as an undisputed title defense, it solidified what he accomplished at lightweight. That's what last night was about for Haney. For Lomachenko, in some people's eyes, he got robbed of a chance to solidify his all-time great status, But let me get to some super chats I got to get to. Alex M, thank you so much. I got a couple to get to, man. First, I'll start with Alex M. Alex M, how soon do you think Lomachenko can get another chance? Age hasn't hit him hard yet, but how much longer will he stay like that? Shakur beats Haney and he beats Tank. Thank you, Alex M, for your super chat. Lomachenko can get another chance like that. He can get it like that. Shakur Stevenson, I interviewed him right after the fight. He said, I'll fight Lomachenko next. He looked great to me. He still looked like the old Loma. So he could fight. He could make that fight happen next if he wants it. Top Rank will do it. Shakur will do it. It's a matter of if Lomachenko wants it. I'm skeptical if Lomachenko can summon what he did last night, or if the guy that fought Jermaine Ortiz is going to show up. I wouldn't be surprised if the guy that fought Jermaine Ortiz shows up and not the guy we saw last night. At guys like Roberto Duran, it needed to be the right kind of opponent, and it needed to be the right kind of incentive and motivation to make a guy in his 30s who's had a long career to get up and really train as hard as he did in his 20s. And Shakur represents that challenge. But sometimes when you're in your 30s, you got one last great one in you. And that might have been his last great one last night. The guy who fought Jermaine Ortiz might show up against Shakur and get shut out. and it's not a fun high-speed chess match like we saw last night. Now, if Lomachenko can summon, and I'm skeptical he can, if he can summon what he did last night, him and Shakur is an excellent fight that I still favor Shakur to win. But that's a hell of a fight. That's a great fight. I would favor Shakur. Younger bull, sharp, razor sharp, and ascending. So I would favor Shakur. But Lomachenko could get that fight straight away. He could get that fight next if he really wants it. I think Top Rank would give it to him in a heartbeat. Davon, a.k.a. School Beat, says, Loma better stay away from Tank and Shakur. I would love to see both fights, though. You know, even if he falls short, whatever. I'd love to see both fights. He'd still, you know, he'd be the best guy either one of them's ever fought. So that'd be a great fight. I like the Tank fight better stylistically because Tank's a knockout artist and Lomachenko fights on that front foot. He's in and out, but inevitably he's coming forward to set up the combination. He's not punching off the back foot, taking a half step back, walking you into the shot. He's got to get in there to get his shit off. So to see him have to get in there against a knockout artist like Tank, maybe it spells doom, but Isaac Cruz had success applying pressure on Tank despite other night. I know Tank hurt his hand in the second half of the fight, but even before he hurt his hand, that was a tough fight for Tank. So I would love to see Loma's educated pressure against Tank's, you know, knockout power, great hand speed, dexterity, everything Tank brings to the table. The one ALV, hold on, let me see this real quick. So the one ALV, thank you, brother, for the super chat, says, salute, Sean. I always enjoy your interviews, and you're never afraid to ask the questions us fans want to know. Well, thank you, the one ALV. You know, and sometimes the questions I ask that wind up getting us good stuff, like Gervonta talking about the mole, when he revealed to us here on FightHype that Ryan got hurt to the body, and he has someone in camp that I know. You know, he unveiled that whole thing. Gervonta did. And I did it by asking questions that, before it spread like wildfire, the whole narrative about the mole in camp and everything, people were asking, why is this guy asking these dumbass questions? And, you know, you'd be surprised. You have to think outside the box sometimes to get guys to open up. Simply asking them about another fighter sometimes isn't going to do it. You got to finesse it. So, no, but thank you, the one ALV. And another super chat from my man Scotland Sensei. Thank you for the $20, brother. Said Shakur is mad because he knows his best bet at beating Devin is at 135. Devin's a different animal at 140 pounds. Watch. We all knew this was it at 135 for Devin. He was dying. But this was personal. Loma told him it would never happen. Yeah, Scotland. And it wasn't just personal. It was also professional because some people are questioning, okay, you won Undisputed, but you won it against George Kambosos, someone no one considered an elite fighter. So then you beat an elite fighter in Lomachenko to solidify your reign, what you did at 135. But I agree with you that Devin is going to be better at 140 pounds. Shakur has already told me in interviews here on FightHype, I'm not going to 140 anytime soon. And I understand and I respect that. You run your own race. You do what's best for you and your body. And Devin's going to do the same. So we're not getting Devin versus Shakur next, and I highly, highly doubt we're getting Devin versus Tank next. Although there's a lot of money involved in that fight, and that could make Devin consider squeezing down to 35 one more time if Gervonta and PBC so want that fight. But ultimately, he's not fighting Shakur and Tank next. He's going to move up to 140 pounds, and I just don't know if he's going to align with Eddie Hearn in Matchroom and set up a fight with Regis Prograis for the WBC, or what I think makes a little bit more sense, or it just makes more sense, period, and that's stay with Top Rank maybe for another 3-fight deal. Fight Jose Ramirez at 140, fight the winner of Taylor and Tio. If Tio wins, and I do favor him even though he's been a head case lately, you know, but if Tio wins, because I think that's a good style matchup for Tio. Tio doesn't struggle as much with the guys who want to press him. That's part of why he beat Lomachenko. It's the guys. George Kambosos was in and out. He didn't just come right to him. And Sandor Martin played keep away. Those guys give him issues. Guys that want to come right to him, they allow him to be the powerful flashy counter puncher that he's comfortable being. I think Josh Taylor could run into something. And if Tio wins that fight, Tio and Devin's a pay-per-view fight that sells out MGM just like Loma and Devin sold it out. And that would just continue to keep the momentum going for Devin. At that point, if Tio wins that fight, he's the lineal 140-pound champion. So that would make Devin back-to-back the champ at 35 and 40. That'd be a great look. So that's what I want to see for Haney next. Don't squeeze down to 135 if you can't do it, because there's no do-overs. And you got to be not 100%, but really 110% for Tank and Shakur. So if you're 90% or 85%, forget about it. Just move up. And these guys have youth on their side. The fights from the sports point of view, from the business point of view, they still have room to grow for sure. Those three, Devin, Tank, and Shakur, for building them up, marinating it. But from the sports side, we're ready to see it now. But 24, 25, 28, youth is on their side. They do got 2 or 3 years to work with before it's really like, okay, this is some bullshit. You know, so I just want to see all three of them in the meantime fight high caliber opposition. Shakur against Lomachenko, that's great. Devin moving up, fighting Ramirez, and then fighting the winner of Tio and Taylor. That'll do it. And for Gervonta, maybe get a Frank Martin fight in, man. That's the toughest fight he can make on the PBC side. Frank Martin is a problem. So, but that's not a big economic fight. He'll build his profile better having a rematch with Isaac Cruz, which is very much more likely to happen before he ever fights a Frank Martin, who is very high risk, very little reward. We got a couple other super chats to go to. Man, we're moving fast, so I can't keep up with everyone. We got 1,200 people in. C6 Mark Contreras said, before this fight against Loma, I thought Haney would outbox Tank. But after seeing Loma land all those left hands, I'm not sure if he can against Tank. Yeah, right. And, well, 6 Mark, even to, you know what, 6 Mark, you bring up a fair point, and because of that, let's go ahead and hear what, because, you know, you bring up a fair point, and Terrence Crawford did echo your point. And because of that reason alone, 6 Mark Contreras, we will play the clip. Hold on, here we go. All right. One moment. And
Shakur beating them, so it don't matter.
One problem. I can't hear my own audio. 1 second here. I'm still standing, heading into overtime. Who likes that, Elton John? 1 second, chat. Let me set up my sound. And we'll check out this Terrence Crawford interview. Sound settings. Here we go. Aha. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me put some pimping in it. Okay. All right. Where are you, Terrence Crawford? There you are.
Shakur over everybody. That's how that was make fights.
Justice had a 7-5.
That was crazy.
What won Devin the fight?
I don't know. Maybe the body shots that, you know what I mean, he was throwing. Man, that was crazy.
Terrence, outside fighting here, does Devin Haney beat Tank? Who wins that fight?
There it is. 6 Mark Contreras. Here's where Terrence Crawford echoes your statements.
I always said Devin would beat Tank, but you know what I mean?
After watching tonight?
The way Lomachenko was landing them left hands on Haney, it's going to be kind of tough for Haney to win, getting hit like that from Tank. But styles make fights, you know what I mean?
So what do you got Tank?
Do you think Devin and Shakur, Terrence? What do you think of that fight?
Hey, you already know, you know what I mean?
You doing you, though. You doing
You know, Shakur, ain't nobody beat Shakur.
Why would you favor him in this fight?
I'm saying,
This was funny. This guy thought he was talking to Shane Mosley.
Terrence, why in that matchup, though, do you give the edge to I know you should favor
I'm saying
him
Shakur beat everybody. It don't matter who it is. Shakur beating them, so it don't matter. Shakur over everybody. That's how it's going to be.
Would he have to make that fight in the pocket, though, because Devin's length and all that?
Who?
Shakur, yeah.
Nah, man, that boy's special. That boy's special, man. Shakur is, you know what I mean, one of a kind, you know what I mean? He adapt to every fighter, and then once he adapt to you, it's it's a long night.
So you can make Devin like give up his height, not necessarily have to just go after him.
We didn't see Shakur go forward. We didn't see Shakur stay in the pocket. You know what I mean? We didn't see Shakur move. We didn't see, you know what I mean, how defense-minded he been. Like, Shakur is just all around a great fighter.
You feel like Haney should move up to 40, though, or stay at 35, take the Shakur fight?
But I don't know. Listen, I know what it feels like to be struggling to make 135. I was there, you know, for some time, and, you know, it's up to him. He's young. He's the one I got to make the weight, nobody else. So, yeah, you know.
Is that a situation where if that weight cut is even taking just 1 or 2% off of you, don't take a fight against a guy like Stevenson? That's, you know.
Yeah, it's hard.
Hey, guys, let's keep this moving. We cannot interview over here.
July
29th, we hear it all.
All right, yeah, and then we started getting kicked out the MGM. But that was, you know, I thought you guys would enjoy Terrence's quick thoughts on the fight. We'll get to Shakur, too. I interviewed Shakur after. Let me get to the super chat. The one ALV, thank you again, brother, said, who do you think Ryan should fight next now that he's training with Derek James? I think, you know, just anybody, man. No one too tough. A warm-up fight. When Oscar Valdez got with Eddie Reynoso, they fought about, you know, 3 guys not in the top 10 before they jumped into the Burchelt fight, because you have to work on some things. Derek, a similar level of opponent that Derek James just had in his first fight with Anthony Joshua. Get a guy like a Jermaine Franklin, who's competent, who's a pro, who knows what he's doing in there, but he can't punch, so there's no risk of your guy getting knocked out or caught with something terrible. So get a guy that doesn't punch hard, but get a guy that can handle himself in there. That's not just going to be a dead corpse for Ryan to pound on. And give Ryan some resistance, but not nearly too much, because he needs to rebuild everything now, from mechanics to his mental, everything. And, you know, just to make a quick joke about it, I still feel like Ryan should have never left Eddie Reynoso. That was his... Scotland Sensei said, thank you for the super chat, brother. Said, let's not forget Devin is only 24. Salute, champ. Thank you, Scotland. I appreciate it, man. And a few others to get to real quick, too. I think that was it. Good. So Ryan should have never left Reynoso, man. You guys seen The Godfather? When after Michael kills the dude in the restaurant, he has to escape to Italy or Sicily. He has to go to Sicily in Corleone, and he discovers his inner true Sicilian, and he meets Apollonia, and he starts to speak more Italian, and that's where he really becomes the Don, the Godfather, Michael Corleone. And for Ryan, I'm being kind of funny here, but for Ryan, it's like, nah, man, you were supposed to stay with Reynoso, start learning how to speak Spanish. After you win a fight, go to Guadalajara with Eddie and Canelo for 2 or 3 weeks, and as you're eating the authentic taquerias at all the authentic taquerias in Mexico, and then you go for a walk out in the village in the Puebla, and then you see this girl that don't even speak a lick of English. She can't even communicate to you, but she hits you with the El Pumie, like the thunderbolt. And then, now then Ryan discovers his perfect girl in Mexico. He starts taking punches better, like a true Mexican fighter, and all that. But anyway, I digress. He goes with Joe Goosen. I thought he was better off with Reynoso. But Derek James is, I don't know if it's a great fit, but he's such a great trainer in today's sport. Maybe the best. Definitely the best stable right now is Derek James. I just don't know if it's a good fit, though, because Derek James's guys are strong, planted guys. Frank Martin got his sauce. He does a couple of different things, and so does Jermell. But his real style, the guy he built from the ground up, so that's who best shows you the Derek James style, is Errol Spence. Jermell Charlo, he learned a lot from Ronnie Shields about defense and head movement and all that stuff. He even used Joan Guzman for that in the last camp when he knocked out Castaño. I'm trying to think of the other guy. Frank Martin. Frank Martin just came to Derek James a couple fights ago. The guy that really fights the Derek James style is Errol Spence. That's the guy he built from childhood, built from scratch. The other guys, they already have some of their habits from previous coaches, and Derek adds into it. And that style of being super... Now, Ryan, he could desperately use the tightening of the fundamentals that Derek's going to bring to his game. Derek is so good at just getting you to catch, keeping a really tight guard, and he'll get Ryan to use his jab more, which will help Ryan a lot. So we'll see, though. We'll see, because I still think Ryan's a speedy guy who's better off maybe letting you come to him sometime. I don't know. It's tough. He's got a unique skill set, but we'll see if it's a perfect match. But Derek James will make a few things better, like the way he's keeping his guard tighter, keeping the hands up, catch and shoot guard. I think that'll be better under Derek James, and I think Derek will get him to use his jab more. So it should be a good pairing, but we'll see. We'll see if it's a perfect fit or not. My man Irvin Green said, "You're the GOAT, Sean." I appreciate that, Irvin. Thank you for the super chat. Bomac has the best stable. Raphael, good to see you, Raphael32. I'm going to all the super chats right now, but good to see you, Raphael32. Which division is the best for Ryan Garcia? 140. Yeah. 140. True School said, Sean, it's a great fit, bro. What's a great fit, True School? Let me know. Oh, it's a great fit, Derek James and Ryan Garcia. Yeah, we'll see. AJ, Sean, how'd you score the Loma fight? I thought either a draw or Lomachenko 115-113. Eric Novella, brother, you missed my chat. Eric, where you at, man? Let me find your chat. Where's it at? Where's Eric Novella at? Eric, I'm sorry, brother. Repeat the comment. You don't have to leave a super chat. I'll just read from the chat and I'll get you. What was your question, brother? Haney versus Ryan. Haney. Ryan's not on that level right now. He's just not. His talent's on that level for sure, but his skill set, his arsenal, his game, it's not there yet. Where's that? Looking for Novell. Loma won the second round, but they gave it to Haney. No, I thought Haney won that round. I gave Loma the third round. Shout out to Oklahoma, Marty Gome. Reading Rainbow says your honesty is very respectable, Sean. I could be tougher. I could be even more honest, but I don't know. still do have to talk to these men in person, all of the fighters. So oh, okay, Eric Novella. Now I got you, brother. Loma 115-113. All you needed to do was at the end of the fight, look at Lou DiBella's eyes. He knew that was bogus. Great show. Thank you, Eric Novella. So, and to get to something else here for... Oh, is that my son? Come in, son. Come in, son. You're good. Come in. Where are you going? Birthday party? Now, come here. I have a big question for you. Come here.
No, they had birthday.
No, we're going to go to a birthday party.
Who won? Haney or Lomachenko?
No, it's Diggy.
What, Diggy?
It's Diggy's birthday.
It's Diggy's
Okay, but Leo,
birthday.
just one question for the chat, okay?
Yeah.
Leonardo. Devin Haney or Lomachenko? Who won the fight?
Day.
Haney? He said Haney. See, and you would think he would say Lomachenko. He's just gonna say the last name he heard. He said Devin Haney. Did you catch the fight, son?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
You know how you like the body shot?
Yeah.
Devin Haney kept landing the body shot. He kept throwing the right hand to the body like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Lomachenko threw the straight left hand up top.
Yeah.
We gonna watch the fight later?
Yeah.
You say hi to everybody?
Say bye.
You showing
Say gotta
you showing
go.
some punches?
Punch it. Bow. Bow.
Ooh!
Bow. 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 Bow.
Oh, he's punching on beat to Eye of the Tiger.
Bow.
All right, little man. Love you guys.
Daddy, kiss bye-bye.
All right, chat.
Bye, Daddy.
Thank you guys. Thank you, one LAV.
Come on, Baba.
Johnny said they're saying kids smarter than these clowns.
Oh, he is.
Well, he doesn't follow the popular opinion.
No.
Good for him.
He
Good
has
for you,
his
Leo.
own mind. Come on, Leo. Let's say goodbye. Oh, I see that.
Julio Guzman said, "You say your son or your twin?" Yeah, that's my little mini me, man.
Let's go, Baba.
Someone said raising a soft white boy there. Nah, man, he gonna have hands. His daddy got hands. His daddy's gonna teach him. That's all. We're gonna get all that adversity We're not, I'm gonna raise him nice and protected. So you're right. He's not gonna be subject to them schoolyard, hanging out while both parents are at work, getting into fights in the neighborhood. He's not gonna be doing that. But I'm gonna be taking him to the boxing gym, and from covering boxing, I know all the best trainers. I'll teach him how to throw a little something. And in terms of how to get out of the way of something, that's when I go to my man Kenny Porter, or I go to all the other trainers I know in the sport. I go to my man John David Jackson. I call up John David, say, John, let me come through, man. Let me go down to Florida, teach little Leo some head movements. So you're tripping, EB. Daddy is moist, EB. My girl look better than yours, motherfucker. So what are you talking about? Yeah, I'm gonna talk my shit. All right, back to the boxing though. So Katie Taylor, CW. Yeah, it's true. You're right, CW. So, but also Katie Taylor lost. Katie Taylor lost over the weekend, and she deserved to lose. Chantel Cameron definitely won that fight. She's definitely the stronger girl. Good fighter, Chantel Cameron. Good pressure fighter. She fought like a Mexican Brit, but she had very short, compact shots. Took the fight. She took the fight to Katie Taylor from round 1, and she won that fight. And Katie Taylor's 35, 36 years old. That war with Amanda Serrano, she was moving up in weight. I'm curious if she can, summon her best self for a rematch. But she from round 1 was uncomfortable and got the fight taken to her. So yeah, Katie Taylor lost over the weekend. Good fight though. But Zero said, "Boy, you soft. You're soft for just coming in and wanting to watch a man for no reason but to say that. You soft, motherfucker." Yeah. But anyways, let's stick to this. Let's get to Shakur. And let me see here. And then this was also when we got a chance to catch up with Shakur after. What arcade game do I have back there? That's NFL Blitz. I got the NFL Blitz cabinet back there. So let's hear what Stevenson had to say.
Higher work rate. Lomachenko he looked like old Lomachenko tonight.
Was it that straight? What'd you think of? Did you feel like? Why do you think Devin's right hands to the body weren't slowing him down? He's the older man, and he came on strong in the second.
He wasn't landing them too clean. Like, it wasn't like no real clean shots. Sometimes it was, but majority of the fight it wasn't.
Is that an edge you have over Devin? Punch placement, accuracy?
I ain't gonna shit on them, but I feel like Lomachenko won the fight.
And listen, the WBC said that you're Devin Haney's man of choice, so are you gonna fight him next?
I'm fighting the winner next. I mean, it's depending on if he stay at 135. Because I'm hearing he gonna go up.
Yeah, Haney said he expects you to activate your man of choice position. So,
I am.
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
If he just can't make the weight anymore, is that still really a duck, or is that not fair to Haney? Like, how do you see it?
I heard him a lot saying that he was going to stay at 135, so that's the only problem that I have with the weight problem.
Because that is a point I think is fair for Devin, is that, look, man, if you can't make the weight no more, that's not a duck. It's a duck if you can still make the weight. It's a duck if Canelo at 68, the John Ryder fight, that's fine. He wanted his tune-up and everything. If he goes up to 75 to try to avenge Bivol, that makes sense. But if you can still make 68 and you're still fighting at 68 and you don't fight Benavidez, that's a duck. Same thing with Devin. If he could still make 135 and he's still going to fight at 135 and it's not against Shakur Stevenson, then that's a duck. But if he has to move up because the man's body can't get down to 135 anymore, that's not a duck. And I feel like Shakur kind of agrees with that as well. His point he just made right there is, don't be saying before the fight, I'm still going to make 35, I'm still going to make 35, I'm still going to make 35, and then now that the smoke is in the ring, now it's time to go up to 140. I get it. That's Shakur's point. But I think it's a fair point to Haney to say, look, man, when you're fighting the very best fighters in the world, like Stevenson and Davis, you got to be 110%. If you're not 110% at 135, move up, and you guys are still young. The fight should and hopefully will happen in the next two years or so. So
Why is him being the bigger fighter, the longer fighter? Why? And you know, he's got skills just like you. Why is that not enough?
It's not enough because, like I said, he got to cut all that weight. He look a little bit weak in there. He ain't look too strong. So,
See, Shakur agrees. He didn't look right.
man, whatever he do, he can't fuck with me.
Listen, have you talked to Bob Arum about making this fight? And if so, what did he say?
I ain't really had too much conversation with him tonight, but we gonna talk.
So what's your thoughts on Bob Arum claiming that a fight with you and Tank will probably lose now?
I ain't got nothing bad to say about Bob. I ain't, you feel me? I'm just
Smart.
staying focused on the main goal.
Based on what you saw these last couple of weeks, who would win, Haney and Davis?
I mean, I think y'all know.
No, we don't. No, let's
Y'all know. I ain't gonna say that.
Hey, if you
That's
can't
between
get
them.
Tank-
That's
if you
between
can't-
them.
If you can't get Tank or Devin,
That's Stevenson favoring Tank over Devin.
who else will you want next?
Anybody could get it.
Shakir.
Any one of them could get it. Anybody.
Would you still want to fight Loma, even though he lost?
I think, man, Lomachenko would be a real good fight. Lomachenko look like the old Lomachenko tonight, so I would
Someone
definitely
asked,
be
is
down to
that
fight
Jay
Lomachenko.
Prince in the back? Yes, it was. And you'll see us talk to him for a second. Hold on, but right there, Shakur confirms he could fight Lomachenko next.
Could get it.
Both
Any
sisters.
one of them could get it. Anybody.
Would you still want to fight Loma, even though he lost?
I think, man, Lomachenko would be a real good fight. Lomachenko look like the old Lomachenko tonight, so I would definitely be down to fight Lomachenko.
Thank you, Shakir.
You ever think it's weird though? Like the American fighter got booed at home. That seems to only happen in the United States.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, especially being that Devin
Yeah, I'm brushing up on the, that.
lived at Vegas most of his life, so it is a little bit weird, but I don't know what's up with the fans.
Did you see any flaws?
Not y'all, though.
Did you see any flaws?
Not y'all, right, good job.
Yeah, I saw a lot of flaws.
Can I get a picture?
When you guys used to spar, you said you always used to get the better of them. Like how so? Were you just sharper? Or like how would it play out more times than not?
I feel like I was just a better fighter. I always felt like I was a better fighter. I feel like I'm the best fighter in boxing, and I stand on that. And I ain't just saying something to for the media or the fans. That's what I actually really believe. So I stand on that.
I know you keep it tight-lipped about any X's and O's talk, but even though he's the bigger guy, are you the better guy in close in the pocket? Like would you have the edge when he toe-to-toe, so to speak?
I just stood next to him. He's not that much bigger than me. He's not that much bigger than me. Like I'm right there in size. Lomachenko a lot smaller than him, but I'm right there in size for sure.
Jay, you think we get this fight next, Jay?
Looking forward to it.
Huh?
Looking
Sure.
forward to it.
How's it look with your man Shakur and Devin Haney?
It's gonna be a beautiful night.
Do you think the business makes sense right now?
Sure.
To go
Take a
down?
We're
picture.
gonna make it make sense.
We're going to make it make sense. Gangster shit from Jay Prince.
Make it make sense. I like that.
Right, I like that. So yeah, that it's just fun to go back some of the big interviews from the night before. I could go through some of our more videos. We have video of Loma admitting he did give away that 12th. Lomachenko stated after the fight that he felt Teofimo's better than Haney. So that's a few other things to touch on before I get out of here. But Charles N., I love you, Charles N., for always being in the super chat, said, you're always keeps getting your questions in. Yeah, man, because we need some meat on that bone. That's those follow-ups are for. Like, who do you think would win? Oh, I'm going to win. Of course he's going to say he's going to win, but we need some meat on the bone. That's where I got to start bringing up size differences, fighting in the pocket, X's and O's, this and that, because we need some meat on the bone. We need these guys to give us some of their insight. They're only going to share so much because they don't want to give away the game. The game is to be sold and not told. But we want them to tell us something when we put the cameras on them, so that's all I'm trying to do. So, 17-3 is not Hall of Fame status, says Narco Blings. Narco Blings, quality over quantity is why Lomachenko will get into the Hall of Fame. And he's coming around in an era where activity is just down, period. The best fighters in the world fight twice a year, if that sometimes. So everyone's number of fights is, except for Canelo, is down across the board. Usyk has 20 fights. Fury hasn't reached 40 fights yet. Errol Spence is at around 30 fights. It's just not as, guys don't get it in as often. And the reason why Lomachenko gets in at 17-3 is because he made history. He won a world title in the fewest amount of professional fights. I'm not dumb. I understand he did that at 27 years old or so. He didn't do it at 21, 20, 19. He did it as a fully grown man already. And he did it after 400 amateur fights. So I get it. But that being said, no matter how you slice it, dice it, frame it, he won a world title in fewer fights than any fighter in professional boxing history. He won a world title in 2 divisions, fewer than any professional fighter in boxing history. And kind of like the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, guys get into the Hall of Fame not all the way on their professional career. Some of them, when they combine what they did in college, what they did overseas, and what they did in the NBA, they put it all together and they get into the Hall of Fame. And that's definitely Loma if the pro career isn't enough to get him in. The 2 gold medals, the little, you could almost say gimmicky, the gimmicky accomplishments of quickest to world title, although we understand it was the WBO belt. They always give Bob Arum whatever he wants. He didn't unify at 126 or 130, but he beat some tremendous fighters like Gary Russell. Had his Lomachenko run. Rigondeaux was a mismatch, but everybody was bitching at him to take it, so he took it and beat him easy. So, but yeah, no, Loma's going to get into the Hall of Fame, whether you like it or not, I like it or not. I do think in today's era, I'd vote for him because of the 2 gold medals to combine with the professional career, the fewest amount of fights. He beat some pretty damn good fighters. And then this era is just not as great as eras past. So I have to grade him on a curve for this era a little bit, And then 3 division champ. Got 3 of the 4 belts at lightweight, So, I do think Lomachenko at 130 pounds is an all-time great. I put him up there with some of the best. He wouldn't have beat Floyd Mayweather. He wouldn't have beat Hector Camacho. He wouldn't have beat, I don't think he beats Juan Manuel Marquez at 130. Floyd, Hector Camacho, Manny Pacquiao. But he's still one of the best 130 pounders I've ever seen. Probably top 10-ish, if not, probably in that top 10, the bottom 5 of the top 10 at 130's history. So, yeah, True School, my man BT. I love you, True School. Shout out to True School Sports. Everyone subscribe. And everyone in the chat, please hit the like button, too. That helps us out. Let's see. Play some Loma on Undisputed? Nah, I'm tired, man. I'm honestly doing this with a little sick, like a little bit of a headache from last night. I didn't drink enough water, all that BS. So we're hitting into about an hour now. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we could touch on that's important before I get out of here. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and shoot them. AB in his prime at 130 beats Lomachenko? At 130, no, he doesn't. Maybe at 135. AB lost to Ponce de Leon in a lot of people's eyes at 130 pounds. AB, his best weight class was lightweight. I think AB would have had a much better chance of beating Lomachenko at lightweight. He might have beaten Lomachenko at lightweight, but AB's feet weren't very good. But he could play bully ball at lightweight. He could just fight in that pocket and beat you up, almost a little James Toney style out of the shoulder roll when he fought DeMarco. But Lomachenko's feet would have been a problem for Broner. Broner, for most part, was flat-footed. His hands were super fast, but not his feet. So, that would have been a hell of a fight. AB around the time he fought Antonio DeMarco in his prime against Lomachenko, that'd have been a hell of a fight. Yeah, I think Loma would have beat AB at 130. 135, very competitive fight. What about the Oscar Valdez fight? Great fight. I thought, Valdez clearly won the fight. That was a speed trap fight a little bit because Valdez, he'll fight up and down to the level of opposition a little bit. That's how he has his best performance against Burchelt when he's an underdog and then almost loses fights where he's the favorite. But I think that you'll get the best Oscar Valdez against Emmanuel Navarrete, and Navarrete throwing that uppercut from way far out. I think Valdez has faster hands, and he's the more compact puncher. He throws his shit more short, and he's super explosive with his left hook. And so I just think Navarrete is bound to get caught with that left hook opening up wide from too far out. But he had to get past last night first with Blue Nose Lopez, a kid that's not on his level, but can fight on his level because that first fight gave him the confidence that I belong in there with him. He dropped Oscar Valdez back in that fight. This fight was a lot more dominant for Valdez, but he still got hit a lot. And Oscar Valdez is funny because he gets hit a lot, but he does have moves on defense. He does have some moves on defense. He can get out of the way of shots. It's funny. Even though he gets hit a lot, I don't think his defense is as bad as some people would think because he does have a number of different looks to get out of the way of shots, but he just can't find a way to stay out of a tough fight. That's Oscar Valdez's biggest problem. I don't think I've ever seen him in the last 4 or 5 years have an easy fight. He just can't stay out of a tough fight. That makes him very fun to watch. That makes him one of the true warriors in boxing, but he's not going to be able to perform at 35 like Lomachenko did last night because of all these wars he keeps getting in. But I think he's going to beat Navarrete. So I got another super chat here. Rax Ree said, look at the total punch stats round by round. There's no way you can say Devin didn't win 7 rounds. 115, 113 for Dev or draw is appropriate. Thank you for the super chat, Rax Ree. Although, if you land 12 or 13 shots, and I land 10 shots, and out of your 12 or 13 shots, 10 out of them were either a jab or a body shot. And basically all 10 of my shots as compared to your 13 were head snappers. Punches that snap the other guy's head around so the crowd can see that. I'm going to score it for the guy that may not have landed as many, but he knocked that head around. And you didn't knock his head around. So that's how I look at that, Raxfree, is just because Devin outlanded him in 7 rounds, or I believe Devin outlanded Lomachenko in 5 rounds. Lomachenko outlanded Devin in 4 rounds, and they split 3 rounds even in punches landed. So extremely close fight. But as you probably know, Raxfree, not all punches are created equal. If you land 10 jabs and I land 10 bricks, the backhand, I win the round. It's not as simple as that, just the punch stats. So, do I think Haney will be a top fighter at 140? I do. I think Haney can move up and beat the winner of Taylor and Teofimo. So, I think if Haney re-signs with Top Rank for a few fights, I think in a year's time or so, he probably will be the 140-pound lineal champ because I think he'll set his sights on the winner of Teo and Taylor. It's probably better for him if Teofimo wins that fight because it's a much bigger fight in America. It'd be a good little pay-per-view. It would sell out the MGM just like they did last night. There'd be lots of bad blood. Ooh, that'd be a great promotion, Teofimo and Haney, because there's more history there with these two in terms of bad blood than there is with Haney and Tank even. Haney and Tank got some good history too with that doghouse sparring, kind of fighting over Floyd Mayweather's affection, to be the heir apparent. But and then Shakur and Devin, they have their respectful history from going back to the amateurs as buddies that were always number one division apart. But Teo and Devin, it's no love lost there. It's gotten ugly at points, so that'd be a great promotion. Rax Reed, thank you again for the super chat, bro. Says, I'm agreeing with you, but that's just a response to the people saying Lomachenko outlanded him in the total fight. I'm not saying that's why I gave it to him, though. Right, because, to be fair, the other side, Rax Reed, Lomachenko finishes the fight outlanding Haney by, let's take a look again. I think it was by double digits. He outlanded him by about 10 punches or so. But he outlanded him by, about 17 punches? Let's take a look. Let me not wing it here. But those punch stats are a little skewed by Lomachenko's 11th round where he outlanded Haney by 14 punches. Let's see. Haney, Lomachenko, punch stats. All right. Here we go. Total punches. let's see, for the final fight, yeah, Haney was 110, Lomachenko was 124. So Lomachenko, and I don't care what you say, Devin Haney did not just throw only 400 punches in that fight. I felt like he was more active than that for sure. But maybe I'm wrong. So yeah, round 11. So to your point, Raxry, round 11, Devin Haney lands 2 out of 28. Lomachenko lands 20 out of 50. And that's an 18-punch disparity right there. You take that big chunk out. You take that big chunk out in the 11th. And Haney actually outlands Lomachenko by 4 punches over the other 11 rounds. So, as you guys know that know your boxing, fights don't just come down to CompuBox numbers. But here's just some photos from the fight. Oops. Some good photos. Haney landing his jab there. Some roughhousing there by Haney, using that forearm in the clinch. Lomachenko landing his left uppercut inside. Lomachenko landing that straight left. Haney landing his jab. So, even the pictures tell the story of the fight. Haney landing a jab here. Haney landing an uppercut there. Lomachenko landing an uppercut there. Back and forth. Great high-speed chess match. One of the best high-speed chess matches I've had the privilege of watching and covering for sure. Let me see here. I think I got another one I got to get to. Myron Sports Talk TV. Shout out, brother. Thank you for the super chat. Does Devin get any credit for his body work? Indeed. He got good credit for the body work from the people that mattered the most, the 3 judges ringside. For me personally, some of those rounds where Devin was landing that withering, sweeping right hand to the body, I gave Lomachenko a lot of those rounds where Devin was getting off that right hand to the body because Lomachenko would offset it with straight left hands up top. And I'm going to score the straight left hand, snapping the head back over the right hands to the body. Especially if the right hands to the body aren't slowing the other guy down, really. And they're not particularly hurting him. I know Lomachenko felt some of them fucking right hands to the body. But not enough to show it. So, and there's no hiding the head snap. There's no... He showed that. So that's my answer to that. Myron Sports Talk. Is Devin definitely did some great body work. Beautiful right hands to the body. But in a lot of the rounds, he got that right hand to the body off. It happened in the same rounds. Lomachenko was cooking with the straight left up top. So I felt that offset it in some of those rounds. Davon. Hey, Davon, thank you earlier talking about teaching him the right hook. I will. I'll teach him. Them guys are crazy. Hating on a 3-year-old. Them guys are crazy. 17-3 is fine. Beterbiev is 19-0. We need Boots and Ortiz. It's just that those guys are nowhere near headlining a big fight yet against each other. That's the problem, man. It's just so much. When guys are fighting once or twice a year, this slow motion is terrible. Like, Boots is about to be 25, 26. It feels like he was 22, 23, 24 just yesterday. And before you know it, he's going to be knocking on the door of 30 and maybe still will have never fought the best fighters because of the way boxing is moving these days. So I wish boxing was moving the right way to where Boots and Ortiz could be built up in a reasonable time frame in the near future and could be a big fight. But them guys ain't even going to get a shot at Crawford and Spence in the division. We'll be lucky if Crawford and Spence fight each other. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Oh, wow, I got some more to get to. Matt's Adventures, I almost missed you, bro. And quickly, Philly Irish Drew Evo, thank you for the super chat saying Haney didn't win more than 4 rounds. Just reading your super chat, brother. Appreciate it. Okay, Matt's Adventures, great to hear from you, brother. Thank you for the super chat, my man. Matt's Adventure says, I'm not a casual fan. I'll say Haney deserves his flowers now. He ain't ducking nobody. He could have easily took an easy mandatory defense. Loma took off a few rounds, and that's what got him. Matt's Adventures keeping it fair. Keeping it fair with his objective analysis. I think that's a fair take, even though I'm a little bit on the other side of if it was either 114-114 or 115-113 Loma. But that's a very, very fair take. Lomachenko did give away some of those early rounds, and then crucially gave up the 12th. That was not smart. So No, thank you, Matt's Adventures. Appreciate it, brother. What else we got here? What do I think about Haney and Tank? Tank's the favorite at lightweight. Devin's just not strong enough right now at 135 pounds. He needs to move up. I think his chances are better at 140 against Tank, where he's going to be the bigger guy. But right now, Tank is very strong and comfortable at 135, and Devin is becoming very drained and not comfortable at 135. So don't take that fight now. No matter how much money it is, don't do it. You have to fight at 100%, man, against the best. So right now, as of today, 28-year-old Gervonta Davis is the favorite over 24-year-old Devin Haney at 135. Year and a half from now, 29, 30-year-old Gervonta Davis at 140 pounds against 140-pound, 26 years old, really getting into his prime, little less drained Devin Haney. Maybe Haney could win. Maybe Haney is a 50-50 fight or is a slight favorite. So we'll have to see. But yes, right now, at 135, Tank would be the favorite. So a lot of Lomachenko flurries missed. I disagree. I thought he was effective with his combination punching in spurts. I didn't think it was like De La Hoya Whitaker, where it's a lot of flashy combos that are making the crowd ooh and ah, but you're not really landing too many effective, clean shots. I thought Lomachenko and most of his combinations popped Devin's head up with a couple shots, which means he was connecting. So, but Devin, Devin made an exciting fight. Devin exchanged with Lomachenko a lot. He took the fight to him in round one. And I thought, I had Devin ahead after 6 rounds. You got to wonder if that weight cut really weakened him in the second half of the fight. And if he's not as, maybe he stays in control. So we got to see. But I thought Devin made it an entertaining fight. Didn't play safe. Didn't try to just pop shot and walk him into right hands. He exchanged with Lomachenko. And that made it really fun, high-speed chess. Let me see here. I got to... Shout out to my man Kenny Buhari flexing on me in the text. Sonia, what's up, Sonia? Great to see you, Sonia Dumas. Good to see you in the chat. So all right, folks. It's about all I got. I'm just reading the chat, seeing if you guys got anything else you want to shoot my way. Serrano Concept, I can't make it right now, but thank you so much. Good to see you, Serrano Concept, in the chat. Did Haney and Shakur fight in the amateurs? No, they didn't. They were always one weight apart, and they were number one in each of their divisions. Did I watch the fight in Ireland, the Katie fight? Jeremiah, good to see you, brother. Shout out, Jeremiah. I saw it. Katie lost that fight. From round one, Chantel Cameron controlled the ring. She took the fight to her, backed her up, and in some of those rounds beat her up. And Katie's flurries were like get off me punches. She landed some hard right hands in the middle of the fight, but for the most part, she was throwing those get off me punches, not really placing her shots, and she was tired halfway through. Chantel Cameron won that fight. Yeah, shout out to Chantel Cameron. Of course, I want to see Katie try to run it back, now that she knows what she's up against, but Chantel Cameron did that. Oh, Lobo, thank you for the super chat. Cully versus Felix Jr. was fire. Reminded me of Mauricio Lara and Lee Wood. I didn't get to catch the Cully Felix Jr. fight. I know it had a huge knockout, right? Guy was being lazy with his jab and got countered with the hook and slept. So I didn't see the fight. I just saw the knockout. I wasn't watching the DAZN card. I was getting ready to cover, the pay-per-view last night here in Vegas. Do I want to see Haney and Loma rematch? I would love to see them rematch, but I don't think Devin is a lightweight anymore. So, it can't, I want to see it happen with both guys at 100%. And it doesn't look like that could happen right now. So, what we got is what we got last night. But all right, chat. Looks like we got everything. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. There was over 1,000 people in here this morning. Keep it locked in here on. Did I see the Maloney knockout? I did. And just to flex the boxing knowledge a little bit, so that you guys don't feel like you're just wasting your time listening to a motherfucker run his mouth saying absolute nonsense. Not saying I haven't done that before, but right here, speaking of the Nakatani knockout, this was the 18th, 2 days before the fight. And I said about Nakatani, this dude has an exceptional left hand. And that comment aged well, unfortunately for Andrew Maloney, who shouldn't have even had to be hit by that left hand in the 12th round. But the referee insisted on sending that man out there when he was too tough for his own good. And that, so there you go. Thunderlips, brother. Good to see you, Thunderlips. Pugilism. All you guys, all my regulars. You guys getting lost in the shuffle a little bit of all the craziness after the big fight. But always great to see you guys in the chat. So that's it, guys. Everyone have a great rest of the Sunday. I'm going to get up out of here. Everyone have a great rest of the Sunday. Thank you, everyone, for joining in on Fight Hype Live. And keep it locked in throughout the week, always here in boxing. We work as hard as we can for you guys. Thanks, everybody. And I hope everyone enjoyed the fight. We close out with that shadow boxing shoe shining. Wait, let's see. You know what, chat? Let's close with a legit shoe shine. Hold on. Let's close with a legit shoe shine.